Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. This is Professor Barry. I want to say hello, and I missed you today. Our day is October the 19th, and I had some technical issues. I was not able to even log into D2L, and so I had to get some help. I had to call a whole bunch of offices to get me reconnected. So now I'm reconnected. I do apologize for missing you all, but there was nothing I could do about that. So I'm making this video to catch you up, and these are the things that I would have said today in our October 19th class session. So let me share my screen. Let me share my screen with you. We are going to go to your class. So if you have your computer up, you can go to your Old Testament class in D2L. Let me get to it. All right. Okay, everybody, we are in our Old Testament class. Let's talk about a couple things. I want to back up right here to week 2, and I want to just give a shout out to Sam, Corey, Lester, Dolores, Gloria, and April. Thank you so much for doing your discussion post. Your discussion posts were on time. We just got a couple of folks that did not do the discussion post. Remember, you got to make sure you do your discussions each week because that marks you present. If you're having any troubles, please make sure you let me know. So let's go to week 3. Week 3 or module 3. You're going to click on that tab. So this is the week of October the 18th. We're in Genesis chapter 4. A couple of things I want to go over this week. So if you take a look at the module, we're going to be in week 3, which talks about the first book of the Bible, Genesis. Your question is question 4 on page 97. Why would God use multiple names in the book of Genesis and also elsewhere in the Old Testament? Remember, your discussion posts serve as your weekly quizzes. Make sure a couple of folks are not doing the reading, you're kind of just talking, just a few, and just make sure that you base your discussion response to this week's reading. You'll also see in week 3 that I copied some pages. See right there where it says chapter 4, Genesis, some pages copied. See right there? I made some copies. I'm not able to copy the whole chapter. My scanner's not very good, but I did what I could. There's a video of last school year of me doing the lesson on Genesis. You could take a look at that later. And here is a link with some more reading about 4 major patriarchs or leaders in the book of Genesis and also in the Hebrew faith or Jewish faith. And that's Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and Joseph. Your assignment this week, in addition to your discussion, is make sure that you go and you're going to click on the Old Testament genre chart assignment. When we talk about genres, we're going to talk about different types. Genres mean types, okay? Types of books. So I want you to tell me how many books are in the Old Testament. You're going to fill that out. And so you're going to see that in the Old Testament, which is the first part of the Bible, that all of these books have been carefully categorized. They weren't just thrown in there, but you're going to see similarities. And you are going to consult your book to help you. Or you can also consult the internet to help you with this assignment as well. But your book can help you too. So there are books grouped together, Genesis through Deuteronomy. You're going to tell me what genre that is and what does that genre mean. So on and so forth, Judges through Esther. And I do have a typo on here. I listed Job through Songs of Solomon twice. And you can just delete that. Isaiah through Daniel. Okay, and then the last group is Hosea through Malachi. So I'm not going to tell you what these genres are, but as you start to research, you're going to see how they fit together. Okay, that chart is due on Sunday night. Everything's due on Sunday night. Mondays, and we end on Sunday nights. Let's go back to week 3. We're in week 3. Let's go to our lesson. Now, this is what we would have talked about today if I could have joined you. And we would have jumped into the first book in the Old Testament called Genesis. Genesis, the name itself means origins. And if you thumb through the book of Genesis, I want you to read through chapter 1 and chapter 2. Read it. Just read it like a book. Read it like a story. Read chapter 1 and chapter 2. And there's going to be something that's going to be really interesting. You've got to do this. You're going to see some creation stories, and I want you to figure out how many creation stories do you find there. Something strange seem like? And you're going to see that in the book of Genesis. Remember, no book was written from beginning to end. None of the books in the Old or in the New Testament did somebody sit there and write the book like we do, right, on a computer or on a piece of paper, and write it with a beginning in mind and an end in mind. So many times parts of a book come together in pieces. Genesis is the first book, remember that, and Genesis talks about origins. Now, when we talk about authorship, we think that it is attributed to another great patriarch of Hebrew or Jewish culture, which is Moses, but we are not really sure who exactly wrote Genesis or the people. So it could have been more than one person. It probably was not just one individual. The first book of the Bible, Genesis, has a lot of history to it. And remember, we talked about geography and location is key. And when you're reading Genesis and you're pinpointing these locations, it's very important. Here's another thing that I want you to keep in mind. As you begin to read this first book, okay, this first book in Genesis, what theologians and researchers have found is that whoever wrote, or the people that were writing this book, also had literature or stories that were going on in their culture at the same time. And what was really interesting, there's a story about a flood, a major flood that involves the character of Noah, okay, in the book of Genesis. It was really interesting that there is a story, it's called Atrahasis Epic, and that contains a story of a major flood and destruction. And that story is an ancient Babylonian story that was very similar to the story that we find in the book of Genesis. So it's really interesting how literature bounces off one another, and how things may have it's not to say that it wasn't true, but how also things were pulled in to support one another. You're going to see a very interesting timeline in Genesis. So in the beginning, if you see this chart, in the beginning of Genesis, we see creation, how the Creator God makes the world, makes people, makes plants and animals and all of that stuff. But then later, as these people or these humans start to move throughout the earth, the story of the fall, when we talk about the fall, it's not necessarily that an individual was falling down on the ground. These people fell to sin, just like regular folks like us, just do things wrong each and every day. But the key thing that the book of Genesis shows us is that the Creator God stuck by those people and throughout Old Testament and New Testament, and didn't leave them alone, didn't abandon them. There are many epic events that happen in the book of Genesis, and we see how God reacts to individuals, reacts to the humans when they don't want to do right. We see how the Creator God sets up different nations of people, blesses people. But there are going to be 4 main patriarchs in the book of Genesis, and that's going to be Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and Joseph. And I want you to keep your eye on those. And if you also look at the handout that I gave you, Abraham is, you may have heard that song like Father Abraham. So Abraham, his real name was Abram, and he has this life-changing encounter with the Creator God, who changes his name to Abraham. And Abraham's purpose was to be like a father, a great father of many, many nations. Okay, not that he would physically birth these people, but that God was going to start many nations and families through his line of people. Okay, we're going to see how in the book of Genesis, how God moves and creates things and then talks with people, moves around the earth with people and shows love for them. So you're also going to see God called different names. You may see the name of Yahweh, God, Lord, Elohim. I remember this is Jewish culture. So you see Jewish culture in the Old Testament and even in the New Testament. They're not yet Christians. Christianity is birthed after the death and resurrection of Jesus. Now, if you get a chance, I want you to do this on your own and pick up a Bible, or even if you have it on your computer. And I want you to go to the book of Genesis, and I want you to look at the structure. I want you to just simply thumb through. In the beginning, chapters 1 and 2, you're going to see creation. And after chapter 2, maybe like verse 4, you're going to see people. You're going to see a lot of history start to develop. Now, location is key. You're going to see that these people or these fathers of Judaism, patriarchs, are moving to a particular land. And that land, remember geography, is Palestine. And as you get toward the end of the book, Joseph is in Egypt and found in slavery. And then also remember, Egypt is not in Europe. It's found in Africa. The book of Genesis, the beginning book, the origin book, shows us that people fall and do things wrong. And those two individuals that we hear so much of is called Adam and Eve, these prototypes of people. But these two people were considered the first individuals made. However, even though they did wrong things, just like we do as humans, the Creator God showed them help and helped them when they did something wrong. I want to give a shout out to Dolores and to Lester. They answered our question for the week. I want you to read Genesis chapter 2, verses 12 through 13. I want you to absorb that because it talks about a land. Remember, location, y'all, is really key. I want you to tell me where is modern day Cush today. And you're going to email me the correct answer. I'm not going to tell you what it is right now, but shout out to our two students, Lester and Dolores, who gave me the correct answer. All right, everybody. I'm going to pause right here, and I hope that you're having a great day. I didn't want to make this video too long, and I hope nothing goes wrong next week, and I'll see you again. Take care.